What is this line along the edge, on the back and on the top? It's called purfling, in Italiano filetto. It's a detail where we all look to know who made it, how is it made, and all these kind of details. Today I explain you everything about the purfling. So building an instrument actually is a very nice trade, and out of big amounts of wood, which are rather heavy pieces, we make very thin parts, and only little of the initial piece of wood remains. And we make the thicknesses, we touch it, and at the very end it comes out something which is at the edge about 4 millimeters. Then there is the fluting, it goes down to 2.7 millimeters. This thickness you could break very easy. The top is in spruce and the back is in maple. The maple is a little bit more resistant, yeah, but still, you know, if it would get a hit or something, it would have a crack right away. So what did the great masters, the old masters in the past discover? They discovered a little bit the effect like a plywood. Plywood would be that you glue many layers of wood one over another, one with a grain like this, one with a grain like this, another like this, and it becomes very strong material. They built even houses like this, yeah, with very raw plywood. On instrument making, they put in along the edge the purfling. What does that mean? Here I have my back of my next olebul, and I designed already here with a purfling cutter, and then I go along the edge and I trace it along the edge, and then with a knife, small one which is very skinny, you go into depth. In the very beginning, violin makers in the beginning, they cut all directions and all these things, but still, you don't have to go that deep inside. Here I would go less than 2 millimeters. The edge is like a little bit less than 4 millimeters, and then with a small, very tiny small, like a chisel, and you can go inside and you take out that material, okay? Now that I make, let's say, the copy of the olebul, you realize how unprecise they have made it, probably because they didn't have so great light how we have, but still, Stradivari made it very, very precise. A Stradivari doesn't have any holes along the purfling. While Guarneri, you can even see where he went on with the cut as a really tough purfling. Now, the purfling itself are nothing else than stripes out of wood. There is purfling and purfling. A big difference between Guarneri and Stradivari is Guarneri had the white in the middle, a little bit more narrow, and generally speaking, I would say that the purfling of Guarneri was a little bit more skinny comparing it to a Stradivari. Stradivari had the white a little bit larger. So I used two different purfling for Guarneri and for Stradivari. And here in town, they sell them already as stripes like this. What, Edgar, you don't make your purfling? Yeah, you're right. I buy them. I have bunches of them. Let's say this Guarneri purfling here, I have them here in a tube like this, yeah. These are my purflings, which I buy already like this. They are made out of wood, 3 thin layers of wood. The black one is colored with ink, but it's a water-resistant black ink. Otherwise, it's fading into the white and into the violin. You can buy them as wood, or also as fiber, which means that in the middle it's always wood and the black part is made out of kind of like a paper. Imagine a little bit like a paper. And then they glue it together and then they cut it in slices. I made them years ago myself. It's actually big fun. It's a long procedure. All this effort I made years ago, I didn't really insist with it because later on I thought, you know, when people look at my instrument here in 50 years, in 100 years, and you see the purfling which we use here in Cremona, you can immediately tell, this is a Cremonese purfling. And I think it's nice if you can somehow make an instrument using the material which is here close by. Here I have a tube where I have even more purflings. I have here also the purfling for cello, and then for double bass. They're really big, and I got them made for double bass, very nice. there's already like sticks, yeah, they're like almost 2.5 millimeters thick and high 3 millimeters. And then I have the ones for the Stradivari, I think are these ones, and for cello, and I have over there some more. For this kind of product, there is a specific profession, and they make very, very nice wood decorations for instrument making. You can personalize everything and get into it, and it opens a new world. The major part is actually that you take your time and you look a little bit how it is made, what kind of purfling. For you, the difference between narrow and large is very difficult to see with free eye. When I use them for Guarneri, I take the raw ones and then with a scraper I pass 2 times. Then to fit them inside, I like to pass just a little bit of sandpaper, which makes the whole thing slippery. And here I made some holes already, just like the original Guarneri Olebol. And I signed it with a pencil and then I make it. And you have to exaggerate a little bit because usually even tiny holes, once you glue it in with hot glue, with animal glue, it all actually is closing. Of course, if the holes are too big and the whole purfling would vibrate inside, that wouldn't be good for the sound. Now I just wanted to show you how I put it inside here by bending it a little bit on the bending iron. Usually I just wetten here on one side a little bit and then I do like this. Yeah, and that's done. And so here I can put it a little bit quick inside. And we make also here the other one. Up. You have to be quick. So the main part of this whole entire video is actually that I wanted to show you that this part is another part which is an area where violin makers make their own style, and you can look at these things to figure out if it's a original. When you are into it from a specific maker, then you can deduct if this one is correct or not. Other people, when they come and they say, how can you tell that this one is an original? It's certainly many tiny details make the entire instrument. Yeah. So then we have it like this, and now I have to adapt the purfling at the corners, very precise. And then I glue it in, and once it is glued in, this here is now a violin which makes min, also an Olebol. You see this hole which I also made here, and she glued it already in, and you can also tell here these holes just like in the original. Yeah. Did you sign up already? No. No, it's time. Oh, I can tell you get red. Push that button, and it's definitely a better life. Sign up. Force yourself, push the button. So this is a quick overview about the purfling. Very interesting detail when it comes to the purfling of cellos is, let's say, the Montagnana, Sleeping Beauty, has a very thin purfling, and it's similar to the purfling of Antonio Stradivari. And small detail at the very end, Testore put the purfling specially on the top, a very thick one, and on the back, he didn't put any purfling. He just scratched it with this purfling cutter and then repassed with a knife, and that's it. This is a violin of Marco Dotti. Here you see the large purfling. It's actually a purfling of a cello we use. And on the top, it seems that there is a purfling, but it's actually only scratched. And then in some areas here you don't rather see it, and here a little bit, but it's typical sign of a Testore. If you're interested to learn how to make all this with or without, or only signed up on the back like Testore, you qualify to sign up on my Violin Making Academy. It's Edgar's online Violin Making Academy, and there you can choose what subject, and specifically only that one or that one, or you take the whole bundle, everything, or only the making, only the varnish, only the setup. Very interesting and a lot of information you can learn. Hope you enjoyed even this one, and you even took the time to subscribe to my channel. See you next time and tell your friends. Ciao, ciao, bye-bye.